Welcome to FM Corner. I'm Danny Koontz, Director of Relationship Management for Windy City Equipment. Today on the podcast, someone I've known for a really long time, John Cantonese. John's the VP for Chain Store Maintenance. Been around in this industry like me a long time, and so we're just going to share some thoughts and ideas from his side of the business and his career. John, how are you today?
Wonderful, Danny. Thanks for having me, sir.
My pleasure. Let's jump right in. Kind of talk a little bit about your career, kind of start to now.
All right. Well, I got involved in facilities management really before facilities management was even a named industry back in 1989. I worked for a company that just specifically focused on glass and gate. And then in 1991, we opened Chain Store Maintenance. We started as an Eastern regional company, took on the Midwest corridor, then took on the West Coast, Canada, Puerto Rico, Guam. In 1996, we went 24/7, 365. And, we've been operating ever since. Actually, a big, exciting change that happened actually in February of 2023 is Chain Store Maintenance, our company. We were acquired by MCS, Mortgage Contracting Services, or actually Making Communities Shine is what the MCS stands for. And they came in, acquired us. We operate as their commercial branch. They were heavily focused, largest mortgage contracting services, single-family residential. So we kind of rounded out their portfolio, and they brought us on to operate as commercial facilities management.
Got it. Has that been a good merger? That been good?
Yes, yeah, they're very supportive. Yeah, obviously, as you can imagine, running your own company, it was my business partner, Steve, and myself for 32 years. So there are some differences, but
Sure.
At the end of the day, no, they've been very supportive to and brought some very good services that we did not handle. We were specifically, we called it our help program, Danny. Handyman. I apologize, sir. Handyman, electrical, locksmith, and plumbing. All 50 states, Canada, Puerto Rico, Guam. For 32 years, sold against the self-perform model. What MCS brought to the table for us, and what we brought to them, it made for a great acquisition, is they have self-performing service centers in key markets set up throughout the country. And in addition, we added a land sweep and snow to our arsenal. So no longer are we specifically interior. Now we also handle the exterior trades with a hybrid model of our service provider network that we, constructed over 32 years. We have,
Sure.
But also now having a self-performed service centers in key markets has been a great addition.
Good. You work both on the restaurant side, obviously, and you also work on the retail side of the business. Kind of, what's the difference? I mean, it is customers, but it's in many cases different kinds of customers. What kind of the difference in retail and restaurant?
Oh, great question. Because again, things break, whether you're dealing with, restaurants, retail, hospitality, education facilities. Everybody has their issues, but with restaurants, just because of the nature of the business, they have different types of emergencies, whether it be food equipment being down, safety issues, tend to be more of, time pressing issues, because if food equipment's and again, we don't really handle food equipment, but that's a major issue, because obviously that's what generates revenue for these locations. If you're not preparing food or serving the customer, then you're not generating revenue. Some of the other differences between restaurants and retail would be, hours of operation.
Right.
A lot of times, many of our mall-based customers that are in retail, they open a little later, close a little earlier. Say it's basically 10 to 10. When we're dealing with our restaurants, while they might not open until 11 a.m. if they're not serving breakfast, usually food prep, they're in early in the morning, and let's face it, a lot of times they are open well past midnight.
Sure.
So it cuts down on the window of time that you have to go in to take care of the facility, whether you have to do stuff overnight, or perform work overnight or prior to. Those are kind of the biggest issues that we find. And again, in the retail setting, there is a lot of time where, you can't interrupt operations. Again, our customers are all there to serve the customer. Without them generating revenue to the customer, none of us have jobs. So a good deal of our work is done after hours, or, just staying out of the way during regular business hours.
Sure. Understood. You've been involved in both RIFMA, and you and I've been friends in RIFMA for many, many years, and Koontz as well. Why not one versus the other, but why are both those important, or you make it important for your company and your people?
Well, it's all about the industry, Danny. The industry, the people. I mean, I am, and Chain Store, we're as competitive as anybody is in this industry.
Sure.
As far as, wanting to succeed, wanting to, secure all the contracts and customers that we can get. But at the end of the day, Koontz and RIFMA is more about the industry as a whole. How can we better this industry moving forward, with whether it be best practices, whatever the case is? But it's just a great arena to meet people, to exchange knowledge, and, to learn from some of the most, influential and knowledgeable people in our industry. So we have been since its inception. At Koontz, we were charter members. RIFMA, as you know, started with Prism and then morphed into its own.
Sure.
And we've been a member of both associations since the beginning. And we're very proud of it. Again, both Koontz and RIFMA, they do a great job. Their leadership team, the people who donate all their time to the board of directors, it's a great association. And again, it's more about bettering the industry as a whole.
I tell you a quick story. Back in Ruby Tuesday days when RIFMA was first forming, and I'd been to a couple of the conferences when it was Prism and still early on. And the president of the company came to me one day and she said, what do you get out of RIFMA? What do you get? And I said, well, one's education, but I said, I'll tell you what I really get. I said, I can go to the bar the night before it starts, and I can sit there and I can talk and have a drink with a whole lot of people who are facility managers and vendors of facilities. And if I do two things, one is be really quiet and listen, and just listen to people talk. Two things are going to happen. I'm going to learn that everybody else has the same problems I do. So I'll actually feel better because I'm not the only person that's struggling with this. Other people that work at other companies are having the same problems I am. And the second part is, if you listen long enough, someone's going to have a really good idea that they're using that could help you. And you can learn. And that tags to what you spoke about education and learning, is listening and talking to people and finding ways and hearing ways that you can take back to your company and use, which will make your company better and make your department better. You'll do it better. So, listening and understanding, I think, is huge for both those, at RIFMA and Connex as well.
Well, agreed, Danny.
What type of customers do you look to work with? You spoke about, being competitive and everybody goes after customers and potential people do business with, but who do you target? What values do good customers have? Because we all know sometimes there are customers you get and it might be profitable, but it's very difficult. And then you got to make a financial decision to keep or whatever. But that aside, what do you look for in a good customer, good partner?
Pretty much, I look for in a person, people that are respectful, people that are knowledgeable about the industry, and people that at the end of the day, they want to have a partnership, because we're a firm believer in when we sell to a customer. Over the years, I've sat down with many people, and one of my canned lines to them is, this is facilities management. There are going to be issues. Everything is not going to be smooth sailing. Anyone who sits in front of you and says, don't worry about a thing, you're never going to have an issue, get up and walk away from the table now. And I'm not being flippant about that.
No, it's true.
It's the nature of the beast. Things are going to go wrong. And with that said, that's when you really get an opportunity to show the customer that you care. It's an opportunity to correct the issue, learn from it, and move on. And we like to deal with customers that have that same philosophy as we do, that, the old proverbial, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Mm-hmm. Things are going to go well. Now, when issues arise, those should be the exception, not the norm. If they're the norm, then that's a different issue. Right. But as far as characteristics of customers that we like to deal with are people that are realistic and understand that things are going to go wrong, but they allow you to correct the issue, and they want to forge a partnership with you because, again, Danny, you and I, again, have known each other so long, you know that I'm a proverbial sayings type person, but sure, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't a lot of times. Right. You want to build a relationship or work with people that are going to give you that opportunity to build a relationship and trip and fall, but let you get up and prove yourself and come back and, continue working with them, because that's how we built our company as far as getting customers, but retaining those customers. And the only way you can do that is with a partner that allows you to fail sometimes.
Sure. Absolutely. I remember I used to tell my team, and when I would talk to a vendor or so on, questions of, I said, listen, if everything went perfectly, there'd be no reason for my department. You would just work directly and you'd go do the work, send the bill, and life would be grand. And the company would save a bunch of money because my department doesn't need to be there. The reason we're there, things do go wrong, and we are helping in that situation. And I'll add a word to it. It was always trust and transparency for me. I'm okay with the mistakes. I understand that happens. That's part of life. In the Ruby Tuesday restaurants, we're going to do a meal wrong today too. That happens too. So it's both sides. It's what do you do about it? And then do you prevent the same problem from happening over and over? That was the other part. What do you learn and what do you do? But you have to be partners, because at the end of the day, you can't work against the other person. And so I just wanted, tell me what happened. Tell me the truth. If you own it, tell me what you're going to do about it, what you're already working on, and then I'll work beside you to get it done, because I have skin in that game too. I picked you. I'm the guy that picked you. So I own part of that process as well. And that's, I think, the simple part is just, be a partner, be truthful, be transparent about what happened. If you're wrong, just own it and then go to work on it and try to get it fixed. That's the key part. I agree 100%. How about biggest success, John, in your career and biggest regret?
Biggest success is really, elevating the people that I've had the pleasure of working with, because we've been fortunate at Chainsaw. I've been surrounded by some long tenured people that I work with. We don't know who they are, but, seeing them be able to elevate and lead committees, make it on the board, just carry pretty much our thoughts and philosophies for the industry, and again, be able to elevate the people around you. I really get a kick out of and get great gratification out of being able to see people that I work with succeed.
What about biggest regret or something? If I could do it over, here's what I'd do.
I don't have many regrets, but from an industry standpoint, I'd have to say probably I don't know if you realize this, but back in 1995, we were actually the first people, chain store maintenance, to break with a centralized database for the retrieval of information. My business partner, Steve Hopkins, self-taught in computing databases. So we gave our customers the ability to look up their work orders and such on our individual platform. Maintenance Online, we called it. Looking back, maybe should have focused more on the data than on the actually doing the work, the performing the work and such. And I say that kind of tongue in cheek because obviously that data management, middleware providers, whether it be Service Channel, FEXA, EcoTrack, big in our industry.
Sure.
We never really followed through. We focused more on the brass tacks, getting the work done, responding to the issue, communicating to the customer, quality work, competitive pricing. Those are our 4 basic criteria. But from a regret standpoint, I guess, maybe we would have focused a little more on the data.
On the data. That's great. I did not know that. That is a great point. And you're right. And the way facilities is managed today, all that data and information is critical. And partly because of COVID and just a change in how the industry's done. A lot of facility folks had to work from home during COVID because there wasn't any travel or anything. And then I think kind of the industry kind of woke up a little bit and said, people that work remotely is not all bad. There can be some good, there was more acceptance because that's the only way you could do it. And so then after COVID, that kind of became more of a way to manage, whereas I'm very old school. And in my day, you traveled every week and you went to restaurants. That's all you did. You went, every week, all week, to look at buildings and look at properties and help people with things. Now it's done different ways because you can sit at your computer and you can get a video and all the information and what happened on the call. And I mean, there's just, so much information that you can get quickly that wasn't really a part of, years ago. So the industry's it's changed and it's moving in that direction if it's not already there.
So, true, very true.
You spoke about your team, John, and I know that your team has been with you a really long time, and you're very proud of that. And that's difficult in the industry anymore is to keep people. They either want to leave because they don't think they have an opportunity or it's not what they signed up for or all the different reasons, but there's a lot of movement and pushing and so on. Kind of just touch on, and you did a little bit, but what's that secret to keeping people for such a long time?
Oh, well, yeah, first and foremost, thank you for, saying that. But I would, it's, be true to yourself. And I've been fortunate surrounding myself with good people. And I think once you get good people, the key is if you can motivate them, then don't demotivate them. And I'm, again, in sayings, it's, I enjoy giving people enough rope to hang themselves with, for lack of a better term. Your strength is your weakness. I'm not a micromanager. Some people might find that as that's a flaw. But I think you lead people, set expectations, tell people what you want, what you expect, give them the tools to do that, and then back up and let them run with it. And that's pretty much it, because let's face it, we all spend so much time working. I feel that it's very important that you keep people happy, give them environment to keep them happy, because at the end of the day, happy people are productive people.
Absolutely.
And you spend so much time working. Again, running our own business for 32 years, I've had, a benefit where I've haven't dreaded going to work every day. I've actually really enjoyed it. But I'm also not unrealistic. I don't expect people to wake up out of bed and go change store every day. But you don't want the flip side of it. It's like you wake up and it's like, oh, dear Lord, I got to go back into work. You have to enjoy what you do. So you try to, create an environment that's fun for people, that's caring, that listens. But, and I know I've said this a few times, but at the end of the day, it is the person that works with you. I've been fortunate. I've surrounded myself with good people, and they're why we're, where we are, and why they stay with us. I think I hope it's because we're pretty much true to our word, and we try to treat people with respect and give them room and not micromanage.
Great answer. And you have great people. I know them all for a really long time. Really, really good people.
Thank you, Danny.
What's the future hold for you, John?
Well, I do have just approaching now a year and a half left on my contract from the merger and acquisition. Not saying that I'm leaving after a year and a half. Hopefully, though, I think I'll always be a part of RIFMA, always be a part of Connects. The people that I've surrounded myself with, the Mary Claire's, Melissa, Laura, Leslie, everybody. I mean, I don't want to just get up and leave them, but probably going to spend a little more time in New Orleans, because we purchased a place down there because my wife's son, daughter-in-law, and grandson live down there.
Right.
And be at the beaches in Rhode Island for half the year, and then the other half of the year probably be down in New Orleans.
That would be great. Great. You spoke about quotes and things like that, and for my last question, kind of give me a quote that means something really special to you.
All right. You had already touched on it first, and they both actually come from my dad. But listen more than you speak. You had touched on that, and I mean, it sounds so simplistic, but it's so true. Listen, as you had stated. And then when you have something to add, by all means add, but you learn much more listening than you do speaking.
Sure.
And another one that I didn't realize what it meant until later in life, but my dad said, used to always tell me, don't get in a kicking match with an ass. And I really didn't know what that meant until you really think about what it means. And again, it doesn't matter how loud you yell, whatever the case is, just be respectful of other people. And if you have disagreements, speak them, talk them out, speak about them. But, certain people you just can't get your point across to. And that's when you just, you walk away and try a different avenue.
Sure. And you got to keep working it. I know in my Ruby Tuesday days, I called it votes. And like I reported to a VP and then the president of the company. And I called, and I always said she had more votes than I did. So all I was asking was the opportunity to voice my opinion. And at the end of it, if I voiced my opinion and she said, that's great, but that's not what we're going to do, I'm okay with that because she got more votes than I did. And that's how I looked at it, and that's how I rationalized it. It wasn't, did you pick my idea? It was, I want the opportunity to speak to you and let you know what I think. And when we're said and done, if you say, we're not doing that, here's what I want you to do, then I'm going to go run down the road with that as my mission and support you because that's my job, because you get more votes. But it was the opportunity to just speak and listen, because every now and then I might have an issue and an opinion that she didn't see because I'm in the field and she's in the, C-suite and things are different there, than in the field. What people who are in the C-suite sometimes assume is going on in the company might not necessarily be true. I know what's really going on. I'm out there. I see it every day.
Right.
And so sometimes I could give her an opinion, but it was always about taking time to listen. That's why with my team that I had at Ruby's, I tried to spend a lot of time listening because I was very quick to figure out or think I figured out what I should do. But then to take the time to listen to my team and let them tell me, you're going down the wrong road or no, or whatever, because they knew they were more to the ground than I was and they knew things to do. So take that time to listen and let your team talk to you is critically important.
Right.
Critically. Well, John, we're about out of time today. I wanted to thank you so much for doing this. We've been friends for a really long time. You're one of the most positive people I've ever met, and we've known each other for many years, and to have a chance to kind of catch up, and I'm really glad of the kind of merger piece. Sounds like it's really good for both parties. It will be great. That's outstanding. That's a huge success in itself when you have a company and someone wants, to merge or join or be a part of that. That is a great testament in itself. But I certainly appreciate the time, and I appreciate you spending a few minutes today on FM Corner with me.
Danny, pleasure is mine. And again, you're a true friend, and appreciate everything you've done for us and Chain Store Maintenance, all of my team. We all love you, and thank you very much.
Feeling mutual. Thank you, John. Thanks, everybody. And we will be back with another podcast next week on FM Corner. Thank you.